Okay, today we're going to go over really just doing some basic CRUD operations with um, Hibernate. And then the other piece of this is I was going to try to script up some Python to import our existing XML data structures into MySQL. However, I didn't get the chance to actually write something before class. So if we're going to do that, it's going to be me writing it like on the fly. Should be easy to do, but we'll see. Oh, where are we at? Okay. So as you guys remember from Tuesday, we created our Hibernate utility, which allows us to create a session to our database, right? So, okay, cool. You know, everything's configured. I still owe you guys configurations in Blackboard. So everything is configured, but we don't know if it's working or not. So the easiest way to do this is actually going to be to go ahead and fire up a unit test. So we'll say user DAO test. We'll say add user. And we're going to create a new user. Just my mountain do that. Oh, come on. That was the other thing on the assignment that a lot of people didn't do was put unit tests. You did. Well, actually, I haven't looked at yours yet. I was trying to save yours for the very end. I was gonna save the best for last, so now I'm concerned. Getting it in there, there's gonna be like 3 lines of code, like shit.
There's a lot of Java, there's just not a lot of JS.
And that's fine. So let's say user set. We don't want to set the ID because if we remember from our table creation, our ID field is going to be auto incrementing. So we'll say user dot set. We'll start with full name. What's a good full name here? Something clever. Set password. User.set username. I really shouldn't remember this, but
Yes.
that is his 6+2, I believe.
All of those. Using for
Plant places, yeah, it's
PTSD. Android.
yeah, it's actually the one time I don't think I saw plant places was when he did. I had him for computer programming too, and we did a Java RMI server, and we didn't talk about plant places at all because there's no RMI in plant places. What was that? Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And well, he just takes the bus down here, doesn't he?
Well, they got off the airplane.
Oh, did he? Okay. Nice.
Did he actually credit? No.
Did he talk about plant places during that ride?
He just kept talking about how my car was a manual.
Was it?
This manual.
I feel like I can see him getting way too much pleasure out of that. What don't you like? Oh, because I'm using the accessor, not the mutator. Okay, so we've created our user. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new Hibernate session. From our session factory. Or not our session factory, but our Hibernate utility class we created I guess Tuesday. Okay, what don't we like here? Let's see. Hibernate session factory. Okay, that's right. I know what I did wrong. Open session. Okay. So what we do here is we begin the transaction. So we've opened a session to the database, and now what we need to do is we need to open a transaction to send data in. We'll say session.save prof, or not prof, user session.get transaction.commit. So what we do here is we start the transaction, we save, we pass in our data. So by saving, we're basically saving that user to the transaction. And what we need to do now is we need to actually commit those changes to the database, which is what's happening on line 59. Okay, so assuming I didn't screw anything up, which is likely that I did, we should be able to, and we'll go ahead and just debug this. We should be able to run it in the debugger. So we create our new user. And it looks like something failed here. Alright, where'd you go? Come back to me. Exception in initializer. Goes by static. Hibernate utility. New configuration. Let's run it again. See, this is why we probably should have tested some of this stuff Tuesday. So let's see. New configuration. No class def exception. Let's do this. Exception. Get message. Print line. Okay. Static logger binder. But what is the actual exception.print stack trace? Okay, let's try that. F9. Okay, so now we've got the stack trace. Class not found exception. Maybe So it looks like we just missed the dependency. So we'll go ahead and kill this. Okay. So now that that has pulled down, that's weird. Okay, now it should be good. Okay. So function F9 to jump to the new or the next breakpoint. Function option F8 so we can create a new configuration. Can we configure it? Invalid configuration. Ah, yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so that's in the HBM. And let me get my Hibernate configuration file. In case you guys haven't gathered, I usually grab a lot of my lecture material from the interwebs. So, and actually, if you're ever stuck on anything, this guy, MK Young, has a lot of the stuff that we've covered in class. Some of it isn't exactly what I've taught, but it gives you an overview of like at least getting your environment set up. So like the Maven stuff, this thing that I'm on, and I'll gonna post this on Blackboard here this weekend. Covers basically everything that I've done in class on getting your Maven, or not your Maven environment, but your Hibernate environment set up. Let's see here. So now I need CG. All right. That's weird. com.it4045 DTO user.hbm.xml not found. Oh, okay, I see the problem here. Okay, so did you guys see the exception that gave us? So remember when we have to map the resource to, so remember how we have to map our Hibernate model XML file to the configuration file? So in this case, I'm using relative path. So I need to actually plug in the full path in order to be able to find that file. So let's do pwd cd source. I can't kill that, can I? Source main Java ls. So pwd pipe to pb copy. Okay, I don't know what you don't like about that. We're just going to run it and try. Okay, we still can't find the mapping, which is strange. Let's see. What was that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say, we could, I mean, we could give it a shot. But see, here's the thing, right? So if I go into my terminal and I cd into com, IT4045, DTO, so the file is there. Now if I do an LSLA, it can't, I wonder if it's a permissions issue. No, it shouldn't be a permissions issue. Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't be a permissions issue. This is pwd. No, that's all right. That's not what I wanted. Let's see. So we're in. So where's this running from? User.hbm.xml. Did I spell it wrong? Let's do this. User.hbm.xml. See how he's got it. Mapping resource. Okay, so let's see what happens. That seems like a really stupid answer, but we'll check it. Okay, let's see. F8. Okay, it didn't crash this time. Okay, that's interesting. So it hasn't failed, but it hasn't succeeded either. Oh. Could not parse configuration. All right. CG cannot parse configuration. Session factory. Let's just grab this whole thing. Okay, what was the called the table IT 4045 app, right? Okay, so that's right. Root, MySQL dialect shows SQL. user.hbf, and then that's all right. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying now. I wonder if that's what it is. Yep, there it is again. Could not parse configuration. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. And actually, that should match. So this guy said that oh, was it this guy? Where's the one? Anyway, I looked at one that said that the version doesn't match. Oh, the jar version of Hibernate and compare it with the DDT version of Hibernate.cfg.xml. It should match basically, otherwise it cannot resolve the dependencies. Yeah, I saw that. I can't imagine why that would make a difference, but it is worth a shot. What was that?
That's software at its finest. I
Yep.
don't see why this should break the entire program, but let's try it anyways.
Well, here's the thing that's baffling me, right? So, MK Young has 3.2.3, which is the same version I have in my in my Maven. So all of his stuff matches mine, and then if you look at his doc type stuff, that all corresponds to what I've got. Yeah, he does, right there. I don't believe I have that one on my other one. Oh, that's the Hibernate. It can't hurt to pull it out at this point because we're wasting. Change the what? Yeah, that's it's my next step. Well, it hasn't thrown me anything yet, but it did this like 2 minutes ago. Remember, it spun for a minute. So, for the record, this is one of the reasons I hate Java. Because in Python it just works.
Just linking stuff up, doing the center stuff, even if you generate devs instead of move it around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can just write code for days without actually doing it.
Well, and one of my bigger issues with Java, right? So for us to test what we're building in class here, there's not like an easy way for me to be like, all right, at the base of my project, here's a plain Java file. Well, I can do that, but it's not going to sync up with everything else. Whereas in Python, I could pretty much test any underlying functionality in a web app with just a script. So, okay, now it doesn't like the mapping resource, so let's do this. Okay, so that is all not redlining anymore. That's not redlining anymore. I have a UTF-8 in this one, so we could pull it from this one too. If that's it, I'm gonna die. I might die. Let's do this. Same issue before.
I had the same thing parse the JSON or XML
Mm-hmm.
on Tomcat.
Yeah.
This isn't. You're not deploying. You're going to be
Yeah. And I had the same thought initially because you're right, when we put it in Tomcat, it explodes it and it goes to different locations. So like if you were to point to a file directly, you'd have to point to your Tomcat installation. But yeah, no, we're not. We're literally just running the unit test. At least I think. Oh, seriously? Let's delete this Maven Revenge file too, or this Hibernate Revenge file too. Source.main Java source main Java com IT4045 Java. Alright, so source main Java com IT4045 DTO user HBM. Let's try it. It's probably not gonna work, but you know. Yeah, it choked.
You just tried chucking in the resources file, same with
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I think technically you're supposed to like separate them out. But see, here's my concern with doing that, right? So actually, maybe not, because look, we're still pointing to the path. So I wonder if I do that, and I come over to Hibernate, and I literally just say user.hbm.xml, and then run it. Oh, it choked, but did it find it? I'm able to instantiate default toolizer? Tupleizer.
Of course.
What the hell is a tupleizer? I'm assuming it makes tuples. Yeah, so you know when you see POM files on like open source projects that are 1,200 lines long? Anyway, at some point you may run into like 1,200 line POM files. It's because of crap like this. Which you would think, right? You would think that if I pulled down Hibernate, it would pull down the dependencies for Hibernate.
Yeah.
Oh no. No, you have to include them yourself.
So it seems like the whole point of Maven.
Yeah. Well, it's fine if if your dependencies don't have any dependencies.
Yeah, but I feel like Maven should pull your dependencies.
You would think it would be able to do it recursively, but it can't. Or, here's another thought. What if, something happened. Something happened. Let's see what happens here. Load session factory. Oh my god. So, good call on putting it in the resources directory. So, yeah, just for your assignments, if it works, just put it in the resources directory. Alright. Actually, yeah, it'd be fine because when it's packaged up as a web app, I mean the resources directory, it's just a relative path. You see what I mean? Okay, so let's see what happens when we try to save it.
Yeah.
Oh, constraint violation. What? how is there a select star from IT 4045? I could. I'm just weird. I like to type out the full schema name because when you start to get into like joins and stuff, like there could be an ambiguity or some ambiguity in like ID. So I've got a role that has an ID. I have a user that has an ID. Well, which ID does it want? So, or if you're doing like cross schema stuff, that too.
Every time I register, I just like I edit the joins after it makes them for me.
See, I've never. I don't think. What do you use for your query writing?
SQL Server just SSMS.
Okay.
And then I should just simply log and forth from
Okay. Users. Now see, that works too. I can just say delete from users. Okay, so now that that's done. Alright, so I'm going to set a breakpoint here, fast forward. Alright, we were successful. Okay, so it logged in, it gave me users. Now how the ID jumped from 1 to 3.
The ID is as soon as you assign an ID, you have to drop it, you're still back down.
Well, no, I get that, but what I'm saying is the one I deleted was ID 1 if you scroll up in the window.
Yeah.
And now we're at ID 3. So who was ID 2?
Session.
Or perhaps it was that, I think the session before, so like the last one we ran, remember how it threw the constraint error? So somehow there was a user
Oh.
already created for Brandon Jones. That second one that failed for the constraint was going to be number 2, but then it just auto-incremented. So, yeah, that's adding stuff from to like adding a new user. Now, as far as getting all users go, let's go over that. So there's actually a couple different ways we can do this. We can write pure SQL with Hibernate, but realistically, we don't really want to do that. So now we'll do get user by, or we'll do get all users. Session equals Hibernate utility dot session factory dot open session. Equals What don't we like about this here? Let's see. Actually, was this even on the docket for today? Okay, we'll say, actually, let's do this instead. Let's do get user by username. Let's say user, user, user. System dot out dot print line. User dot. So we'll see if this select query works. I know for next week, if I'm correct, we're actually on schedule to do to go into some more depth, some of the Hibernate stuff. So going into like how to do the ORM and how to actually use what we've set up. Yeah, so next week is supposed to be dedicated to data retrieval with HQL, which is that it's that weird combination of Java and SQL, which is hideous to write. So we're not going to do that. We'll do a little bit of that next week, but we'll go into more of what I'm trying to do today. Let's see here. Didn't crash. Or did it? Okay, so it failed. Not insert. Unknown entity com dot. Oh, that might be why it failed. Come on, come on. Okay. And actually, as far as injecting this goes, we realistically could probably do this with Java as well. Now that we have the code to add a new user, all we'll really need to do is just write a quick utility script or just like an API, like a landing page or a managed bean to basically parse to get our stuff from the XML and then feed it into our database. Should be pretty easy to do. If this works, we can go over it. Yeah, it just failed again. Nice. Provided ID of wrong type for class. ID of wrong type for class. Okay, so we'll go over more of that Monday, or not Monday, but Tuesday. So one last thing I want to do here is I want to code up very quickly a script to inject our existing XML stuff into code up our existing XML stuff into our database. So we'll call this XML migrator. With void migrate. And then what we'll do, so what we'll do is we'll say for user in new user DAO dot get all users. I'll try catch. Wow, that's really stupid. So I'm try catch. No. Add. Okay. So basically what we're going to do here is for each of our DAO classes, we're going to iterate over our get all select all entities methods, right? So in this case, get all users. I haven't created any XML mappings or a table for cars yet, but we can do it with users since we've done that already. So we've created this simple migrate method, and then what we can do is we can actually just come up to the beans. What did we do? What did we put that in? Home. And we'll say, welcome from navigation bean, login bean. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll actually go ahead and just create a new facelet for it. So we'll call it migrator. And we'll grab the stuff from home. Okay. So hform h command button action equals we'll say home. What do I call that guy? Home dot migrate. Okay, and then we'll do public void migrate. Say XML migrator equals So all I've done is I've created a facelet, I've created a managed bean to back it, and then I've called our migrate function. Then I just got to surround that with a try catch. So that's all good. And now what I can do is come in here. Oh, that's not what I want to do. All right, hold on. So now we'll come in, we will run it. Oop. And actually, let's do one more thing here. Let's go ahead and delete all users. So that if we remember our URLs for our facelets, go to migrate or .xhtml, and we hit migrate, assuming everything went okay. Weird. Let's drop a breakpoint in there and see what happened. Oh, did I never manage bean name home migrator That's weird. Let's do action equals, okay, there it goes. Okay, now we should be good. Okay, so our war should be redeployed. Navigate back to the page. Okay, so it tried to insert 3 rows into our database. And if we do a select, you can see we've migrated all of our users. So, pretty easy. I'll throw the code up on GitHub, and you guys can just steal it to migrate your stuff. You could also use Python or something to parse it and migrate it. So, any questions about the stuff we went over? I know it was kind of a weird day because we spent so much time debugging. But like I said, so for next week we'll actually go over using the ORM and using the HQL. This week was really supposed to be just about getting set up with Hibernate and understanding ORM. So, in summary, ORM mapping a Java class to or a code class to a database table, and then having a way to pass the data back and forth using the code versus raw SQL. So, makes sense? Okay. Right, I guess that wraps it up for today. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Email me. I will get the videos up, all of the videos uploaded this weekend. So.